speed rules and every second counts. Where rubber meets the road and the stakes are sky high. Two voices bring you the pulse of the track, the thrill of the chase, and the roar of the engines. This is Loose Lugs with Lauren Leitch and Mark Allen. Buckle up and hold tight, because the green flag drops now.
Hey everyone, welcome to our Daytona 500 qualifying watch along here, presented by the Corp Racing and Valley Gasket. Thank you, Tim, Ben, and Carrie, for all that you do for us and all the community. Like we always say, it's truly remarkable what you do for everyone. So thank you. All right. Well, some of you may be starting to watch the pre-qualifying show here. That has moved over to FS2. So if you're looking for Daytona qualifying, that has started on FS2. Qualifying hasn't started just yet. So if you don't have FS2, no, not to worry just yet. It hasn't started. Basketball is finishing up over on FS1, and then they'll switch over when that is finished. So be on the lookout for that here. Mark, maybe you can give us an update on the basketball game, how much time is left in that one?
3:09, and they got 3 timeouts left, and we're in a timeout. So should be about another 20 minutes to a half hour to run 3 minutes of basketball. That's how that goes.
Sure. Well, they just went up into the booth on FS2 here with Mike Joy, Kevin Harvick, and Clint Boyer. Oh boy. So no cars on the track just yet. So hopefully that basketball game will end up here, and you'll be able to catch some qualifying. In addition to talking racing, having guests join us, you can comment if you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. You can comment. We can respond to you. We can have some other guests join if you want to join. Just let us know, and we'll get you on here. So I know one guest that we're going to have is Grant Griesbach. He'll be joining us here in a little while here. So Grant was on the Ram Race for the Seat TV show. So that was pretty cool to see him involved in that. Congratulations to Minnie Tyrell for winning that. He ends up with that seat for Colleague Racing there. So Mark, we talked about the reality show a little bit, but what a cool idea for Colleague Racing and Ram to get back into the sport and give some people some opportunities here to show what they can do.
You know, I was wondering, you got to have a license to run Daytona, right? And sometimes they get into an ARCA race, and how does he get to run Daytona? Did they come with a license?
I think he is doing some sort of testing. So I think I did see he's going to do some testing there, and or did a test already, and so he should be good to go.
That used to be a strict thing. I was thinking during the show, wow, he gets to run Daytona, and I thought that comes with a license, but anyway, so yeah, he'll be there. There's gonna be 5 Dodges, Rams in the truck series. Get that right. We got Ram and we got O'Reilly. So there's 2 of them you gotta get on right away.
I'll tell you what, O'Reilly, Xfinity, I've tripped up over that. I know you have, some other people that have joined our show. I was listening to Joe Gibbs Racing on Sirius XM the other day, and he kept saying Xfinity, and he kept apologizing. It's, when Xfinity did so much for the sport and had been around for that while, and it's just hard to change.
It's a habit, but it'll come eventually. It'll come.
Yeah, Chris Grimes did comment here and confirm that he did a test at the Rock. I thought I had heard he had did a test, excuse me. So it was at the Rock, and then he ran a Daytona car at ARCA. And it's an interesting point you bring up there, Mark, because we've seen that over the years about people getting licensed and having to do a test. they had some other people trying to get into Daytona and have to go through a test this week too. So Cletus McFarland was a driver who had to do that in a truck as well.
Oh, so yeah, I knew that was part of the deal. So don't know how it works, but it seemed like it was a lot tighter back in the day. So maybe they've loosened it up a little bit, but that's all right.
No, they really didn't loosen it up at all. It just they did it in other ways, and we just didn't hear much about it. I guess this time around, but
Yeah, well, I understand that.
New Smyrna also going on this week. Last night got a little rough there, buddy.
Yeah, Gabe Summers, man, what a bummer. You know, the guy on the inside, that Klein, he just got loose on the inside. You know, they're tight like that. And hey, it doesn't take much contact. And boy, he took the nose right off of Gabe's car, and that was unfortunate. And then you look back into the corner, you know, everybody checked up, and there was a parking lot waiting there. So, yeah, things happen fast at New Smyrna. They're rocking around that place.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was very unfortunate to see Gabe get destroyed down there. Thankfully, he's okay. He was rightfully so upset about the deal, and that was a hard hit, man. Just thankful for the safety in these cars and that he walked away from that deal.
You know, I made a comment to you last night before that. I just was, you know, I always thought that was like lap 2 or lap 3, you know, cold tires, cold brakes, and everything like that. But after you checked into it, you know, we were well into what, 20, 21 laps. But it only takes one person to just overrun a corner or just, you know, they're not all perfect, dude. Every once in a while, somebody else slip up, you know, and it's just so happen to get into somebody else, and stuff happens fast, man. But boy, it sure can wreck stuff really quick.
Yeah, no doubt. For people still on FS1 waiting for the basketball game to end up here, we are starting to qualify. First on track is Corey Heim in the 67 Robin Hood 2311 Toyota Camry. So Corey Heim going to make a couple of starts this year. I think it just came down a couple of days ago that he is going to do 12 cup races for 2311. Booty Barker will be his crew chief. So the defending Truck Series champion going to do 12 races in that 67 car with Booty Barker.
Yeah, he was I think sixth fastest this morning in the morning practice. I got to sit down and watch that, and there was a lot of guys that were just trying to get a single lap, you know, and that's hard to do once when you somebody comes along or comes behind you and helps you with a draft and like that. So the times are kind of skewed, but yeah, Corey Heim, he's going to run 12 races, both Daytonas, both Charlottes. Then I think there's a Kansas, Darlington, and some other odd stuff that's there. So yeah, he's getting going to get some good seat time in the Cup Series. He's already got a little bit already.
Yeah, he does. He was 8th in practice there. So let's talk about practice from this morning. Austin Cindric led the group, followed by Ross Chastain, Corey LaJoy, who was an open car looking to get in. So he was the fastest of the open cars. Bubba Wallace was 4th, Daniel Suarez, Alex Bowman, Eric Jones. We just talked about Corey Heim being 8th. That is the second fastest open car. And remember, the 2 fastest open cars from this qualify session do get in. They will not have to race their way in. Kyle Larson was 9th, and Jimmy Johnson is 10th. And Jimmy Johnson is an open car. However, he will not have to race his way in. He has taken that provisional that they offer, so that I forget what they call it, Legends type of deal there to promote the sport. So Jimmy Johnson got that. So there'll be 41 cars starting this Daytona 500. So we know Jimmy Johnson, and then the fastest 2 open cars will get in. And here is the second open car. So Corey Heim laid down a lap there. Here comes the 40 for Junior Motorsports. This is Justin Allgaier on track here. So we'll see what he can do. Of course, he had to race his way in last year, Mark.
Yeah, they had a close-up of that car in the garage this morning. Man, holy smokes, is it sharp. And hey, that Traveler's Whiskey, they said, what is it, 121 proof? Or else that's the maximum on there. Maybe they have a different brand on that, but I said 121 proof. Wow, that puts some lead in your pencil.
Yeah, I'd have to check on that deal to see what it is. I almost bought it the other day. I was telling you that. I came close, but I didn't do it. So
Want to do that for sipping whiskey and not making mixed drinks with that.
yeah, Corey Heim laid down a lap of 49.138. Allgaier went 49.201. So right now, Corey Heim, the fastest car on track and the first of the open cars to go, which only has been 2, of course. But Eric Jones is third up on the track here. So we'll see what Eric can do. He has a win here at this track, so he's always good on super speedways. This will be a team to watch too, Mark. Both of these Legacy Motor Club cars all season round to see what gains they've made from last year.
Well, it looked good already last year. You could see that they were making gains on it. So yeah, expecting better stuff out of them for sure. Nemechek, how much he does in the lower series like that, it's just like, it's eventually going to come around where he's going to do well. So, and our buddy Eric Jones, he gives us a good time, man, when we see him all the time. And heck of a guy. I love him a lot. So yeah, I'd like to see him do good this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Eric has always been great to us, so it's good to see that. They're interviewing Connor Zilich right now. That's another rookie that, of course, a lot of people are going to have their eyes on.
He was the first one in the media center. They were on for 7 hours today, and I just caught just the first part of it, and he was trying to explain to people that saying, everybody thinks that my life is just easy, and everything falls in place. And he said it's far from that, but boy, has he climbed the ladder fast, man, and he's won everywhere he goes. So, like they said, he's climbing the steepest part of a mountain right now, and learning how to run these guys with the competition.
Yeah, and he got a little bit of experience last year, so that should help him a little bit.
A little bit, but man, whatever he touches, he's pretty doggone good.
No doubt about it. Jones ran a 49.332, so he is the slowest of the 3 so far. Ty Dillon is up on track now, Mark.
All right.
And he just ran a 49.497, so Ty Dillon a little slower than Eric Jones. So right now it's Heim, Allgaier, Jones, and Ty Dillon.
And we got 15 seconds left in this basketball game, but still 3 timeouts, so that ought to take a little while here yet.
Grant Gilbert chiming in. Hey, Grant, happy to have you on here. I know we got to get you on too. Great season last year, keeping improving there. So I know we talked at the banquet. We'll get you guys on here soon. So thanks for chiming in. Cole Custer is the next car to hit the track here, Mark.
In a Chevy, huh?
In a Chevy, yep. One of the big deals this offseason is, a lot of teams going away from Ford.
Yeah. Not just in Cup, but in all the series. Interesting. Don't know.
Yeah, I was surprised by all the teams moving over, and Ford ended up having to do something on the Xfinity Series size and get Luke Fenhaus in that Hettinger Racing vehicle there. So we'll see Luke on track Saturday. Boy, that new paint scheme looks pretty sharp.
Yeah, that blue and green looks pretty sharp for Luke. Looks fast, man. So see how he does with that.
Brandon Reichenberger, 2-time Midwest Truck Series champion. Join us here. I know he loves our live streams here, so we appreciate you joining in, Brandon.
Sure.
He's had some exciting news this offseason too, joining 31 Motorsports there. So he's going to be a part of that truck deal this year. So that was cool to see.
Yeah, all right, man. That's good stuff.
They're showing Ryan Preece winning the Clash there. What a win that was for him in Team 60. He's on track now in that Kroger Ford Mustang.
Just keep it on the ground there, Ryan.
Yeah, man.
Daytona's had a little bit of bad luck for him.
A little, yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So Custer ran a 49.321, so that put him third. You'll have to update me when they go back to FS1. So then I can switch over. Wow, Priest to the top, 49.081. So he is about a half a tenth faster than Corey Heim, who's running second. And here comes the 66, Garage 66 of Casey Mears. He has 494 career Cup starts. I know he's trying to make it to 500.
What, 4 races, right?
6 races left. So
Oh, 6, yeah.
I don't know what he's scheduled for this year, but 6 to get to 500 there.
All right.
James Swan, truck champion as well, joining us here. Thanks for chiming in here, James. Jesse Nedikoven says, hey, y'all, I still remember my first feature interview that I had with you. Hopefully this season I will be able to win a lot more with my new car. So Jesse Nedikoven with a new car there. So that's some exciting short track news for Jesse.
Good stuff. Hey, the basketball game just ended. Just about ready to go out the air here. So,
okay, you let me know when you see cars.
We'll stand by.
So 6
Thank
cars.
goodness it didn't go into overtime. Thank goodness for that. But all right, we are live on FS1.
Okay, I'm going to switch over to FS1 right away. I know they're going to keep it on FS2 here for just a short while. I'm going to switch over to join you, Mark.
All right. Yeah, I see the 66 is on the track coming out of turn 4 right now.
Looks like, I might be a little ahead of you.
Casey Mears, yeah.
He ran a 50.233, so he is the slowest of the 7 so far. So he will have to race his way in because he is currently 3rd of the open car. So 2 get in here. Kevin Heiding also on. Great to see you, Kevin. Can't wait to see you at the track. I know he's helped out MBM Motorsports in the past and maybe some other teams. And he was saying Biffle-style numbers on RFK cars. And not only RFK cars, also on the 16 for Colleague in honor of Craig Biffle, who we've talked about that a lot on the podcast, Mark, how we miss him and how they're doing a cool thing to honor him.
Yep, I saw Allmendinger's car today, man. Them fonts on there just makes that car look sharp. I seen Keselowski's too, and that's just the way the font says. Yeah, it brings back memories of the Biff.
David Gilliland on track here. Almost said Michael McDowell, but that is a Gilliland there, and Gilliland will go 6 quick with a 49.459.
These front row cars are always fast, man. They always find their way up front, so be interesting what time he gets here.
Yep. Yeah, sorry, I'm going to spoil some of these for you because I'm a little ahead of you. So he ran a 4.59. Daniel Suarez now on track.
Okay.
We'll have to sync up at some point maybe, so we're doing it. But Emily Hippis also joining us here. Hey, Emily. Mark Bell also says anywhere else to watch other than FS1? They just had it on FS2. I think FS1 is your only option at this point. The audio may be on the NASCAR app. You can check there. Sometimes they'll have the MRN call available to you, but FS1, as far as TV, is the only option. As far as I know, maybe HBO Max if you have it. It's possible.
I think Fox Sports app would have it on. I would pretty much bet on it.
Might have it on it. Yep.
Yeah, right. I'm sure the Fox Sports app would have it.
Yep, that would be a good option. That is free. You don't have to pay for the Fox Sports app, so that would be another option for you.
Well, there's some really a lot of wavy bumps going into 3 there.
That
was just bouncing around there on Suarez's car. Yeah.
That's gotten worse, I feel like, over in that area year after year for some reason. It reminds you of old Daytona, too. Remember that was kind of the bumpy area at old Daytona.
Yeah. Boy, they got stiff shocks on that Suarez car. It's hopping up and down.
He ran a 5.51, so he's 8th. Jimmy Johnson coming to the stripe right now. Kevin did say Fox Sports app has it, so he confirmed that for us. So thank you, Kevin. So remember, this is an open car, but he's already locked in. So no worries for 7-time Cup Series champion Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, he's going to run San Diego Road Course, and he's going to run the truck there also at the naval base.
So after Jimmy Johnson will be Noah Gregson and AJ Allmendinger.
You know, Jimmy Johnson got a third last year, man, in the 500.
He had a good run there. Yeah, that was a good finish for him in the 84.
Yeah.
Mark, you tell me when Jimmy Johnson gets to the stripe too. I just paused mine so we can link up.
All right, he's coming out of 4 by pit road, and 3, 2, 1, bang.
Okay. I'm going to be close. I might be slightly ahead, but he ran a 3.66, so that's currently 6 of the 10 that have gone.
Okay. Be interesting who's all going to be up front. It was all a mixed bag this morning.
Yeah, had a couple of Ford, Chevrolets, Toyotas up front. I talked about the top 10. Yeah, really a mixed bag there. Some ran a lot of laps, some ran just a few. It looks like Nemechek and Briscoe ran 16 laps. It looks like that is the most that were run. Oh, no, excuse me. Their fastest was on lap 16. It looks like 20 laps was Tyler Reddick, and Jimmy Johnson ran 20 laps. So kind of a mixed bag of what people were doing there as well.
Look at Allgaier. He's trying to look like me with all that gray in his beard, man.
You know, I ran into Julie Chase. I hope this is okay to share. Ran into Julie Chase at Festival before I hopped on here, and she was saying I got a little bit of silver going on.
Ain't nothing you can do about it. How's that?
No, and we both said that same thing.
Yeah.
It was a good conversation. It was good to see Julie. Gregson ran a 5.04. That'll put him 9th. So right now, talk about a mixed bag. You got a Ford and Priest, a Toyota and Heim, and a Chevy and Allgaier, your top 3.
There's the 16. There's with the fonts on it. The Celsius car with the Allmendinger.
Yeah, it's a sharp car there, especially with those numbers. Brings back a lot of memories, I tell you what.
Remember
Also,
Phoenix, man? He wrecked so many hard times at Phoenix at the end of the year. He said he was done. Wow. He ended the season with a bang. Yeah, a couple races. He had some really tough wrecks at the end of the year.
He had a tough end to the year. Yeah, that's for sure. Be interesting to see what Colleague does this year with that transition. Obviously, they got the Ram trucks. They're still racing Chevrolets and Cup. Their Xfinity Series program has gone away, or excuse me, O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. There's a slip up there, but yeah, I don't know if this is a lame duck year for Stellantis to decide what they're going to do or what's going to go on here. But
boy, looking at Allmendinger, look at him jump around. I mean, that track used to be just smooth as glass, man. Not no more.
Yeah.
Oh, man, they're bouncing up and down all over the place, man. So, yeah, the track has character.
All right, we're going to commercial break here. Next up to qualify will be Herbst, Chandler Smith, Hocevar, and then Kyle Busch before we get to Connor Zilich, Saint Smith, and Nemechek. Let's talk a little bit about news here before we bring Grant Griesbach on here, Mark. So some IndyCar news came down a little while ago. Brian Barnhart is going to move over to Graham Rahal. Christian Lundgaard got a new strategist. It'll be former Penske executive Kyle Moyer. He finished the year with Nolan Siegel last year. Siegel will now have IndyCar and IMSA veteran Tim Keen as his strategist.
Okay.
Nick Lights will make his Tricon debut. He'll be in the number 5 at Daytona there for Tricon. So Nick Lights will be in a truck here to start the season.
We know how Tricon is. That's a good ride.
And some news that came down earlier today, Caden Honeycutt, his crew chief is normally Scott Cipodelli. because he moved over to the 11 Tricon truck, but Scott had an injury come up, so he is not able to travel to Daytona. So David Stewart will be Caden Honeycutt's crew chief here in a couple days.
Wow. Must be a significant injury if you can't make it to Daytona, huh?
Yeah. Nick Sanchez has finally been announced to go somewhere. He will drive for AM Racing. On the last podcast, we talked about AM Racing not doing that deal. They sold their team away. It didn't come together. So they are driving for, they are continuing in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series this year. Nick Sanchez will drive. Daniel Dye is also going to drive part-time for them.
It took a while before Sanchez finally landed somewhere, man. I mean, just like all of a sudden he lost a ride, and it's just like, is he going to race this year? You know, and finally this popped up. So we'll see how this works for him in the O'Reilly series.
Yeah. And something I was just about to mention before I went into news, there's been a new rule in their latest bulletin here for NASCAR. And it reads as this: as determined by NASCAR, once a vehicle exits pit road during a qualifying attempt, the driver's hands may not be used to redirect air in any manner, including but not limited to touching the window net, blocking air from entering the cockpit, redirecting air from the window, etc. Non-compliance will result in loss of qualifying time. So that is why when they're showing the in-car, you are not seeing the driver's hands come up in the window net and blocking that air, because that is now illegal. So that's why you're seeing both hands on the wheel tonight.
Yeah, Logano, I think, was the one that pulled that where the in-car was there and he was holding his hand up there trying to stop the wind from coming through the net. So can't get away with nothing, dude.
Was that a little bit of smoke out of Riley Herbst I saw in turn one? I didn't see it as he exited turn two, but I thought I saw a puff of smoke come out of that.
You know, Denny Hamlin's been pretty critical about this car and saying just, you know, that this car needs to perform. So they're really looking at this whole team and trying to up the game on this 35 team.
Yeah. We started this thing by talking about New Smyrna a little bit and how rough it was, and thankful that Gabe Summers walked away. We should mention Carson Brown did win the ASA Stars National Tour Clyde Hart Memorial. He'll be one to watch for the championship in both the Stars National Tour, and he's also going to run the Cars Tour. Sutton and McKee were the rest of the podium. Unfortunately, it was kind of wreck-filled, but congratulations to Carson Brown for starting off the season with a win down there.
Yeah, that's a camping car, isn't it? Yeah, they won the championship two years ago. They won with Casey Roderick. So, and we seen up here when Purdy brought that to Kakana, never raced here before, and he won the 250 up here with a 81 camping car. So that's all. They've always been relevant, man. That's always been a fast car.
I am going to send a message out to Grant Griesbach, so he'll be joining us here shortly. The only other bit of news that I have is it was just announced as we were coming live. Kyle Larson has signed a multi-year extension with Hendrick Motorsports. No surprise there.
Well, that'll stop him from going to IndyCar. You know, there was always this thought that just maybe he just might go over to the Indy side, but this will lock him back up over on the NASCAR side where he belongs.
Yeah. Trying to see if it has. Okay, so that extension will bring him through the 2031 season. So that means he's got 6 years on his deal with Hendrick Motorsports. So that's a good deal there for both Hendrick and Kyle Larson.
Wow, that's a long time, man. It's a long contract. Hocevar just signed a major one last week, you know, that went over 2030 also. So
yeah,
starting to get some of these long contracts now.
Yeah, that's right, because we're talking about going into the next decade. And, yeah, that was Carson there.
Chandler Smith giving it a shot here, you know, with a 36 front row car.
Let's catch up before Grant gets on here. Jesse Nodakoven saying, praying that this new chase format gets more people to tune in on Sundays. he's excited for it. By the way, let's go Larson, Elliott, Bush, and Elgire. So, yeah, we really didn't say anything about who we think might get the pole here, Mark. I think we're both probably leaning the same way here. I think it'll be probably a Penske Ford. I would say Cindric and Logano are probably my leading candidates. How about you?
Yeah, Blaney, Barry. I expect them around there. I'm looking at Cindric. He was fastest in practice. Don't know if he got a sniff of a draft or whatever, but always has a way of getting around.
Yeah. Ricky Miller says, "What's up, guys? It's been a while." Yeah, Ricky, cool to see you doing well down in North Carolina. Cool to see your kid racing and everything that he's been doing and successful. So good to see you. Good to talk to you. Josh Anthony says, "When are we getting a live broadcast from Daytona? How are you guys doing tonight?" Hey, yeah, live broadcast from Daytona. That would be pretty cool. So hopefully in the near future.
Well, gas up your private jet there, Lauren, and let's go.
Yeah. And then Aiden Erig says he agrees. We need them live in Daytona. So that's pretty cool. Thanks everyone for joining in tonight. Just a way to talk some racing while we watch some qualifying here and going on. And here we got a guy joining us that has done some pretty exciting things here. Hey Grant, thanks for joining us during our Daytona 500 qualifying watch along here. How you doing? And congratulations on that whole Ram TV deal that you did with Colleague Racing.
Oh, well, thanks for having me. It's always good to be on with you guys and believe your first live episode. So always cool to watch Daytona qualifying, and it's a big event and race season's here. We kind of got a sense of urgency to start working on our cars. The icebreaker's 2 months away, and got a lot of work to do on the 60 truck and both the 17s.
Hey, man, you drove a Legends car. You going to drive one of them around here too, also?
When I was 12 years old, I quit running those around here, and it's because I was getting a little too big for them. So definitely not looking to do that again. Maybe one of those, if the bigger ones are the sedan ones, maybe I can get in one of those. But they definitely were not meant for someone of my not only weight but height as well. My knees were super close to the roll bar, and I'm normally never scared in a race car, but I was terrified to wreck one of those things.
Yeah. Mark and I talk about this when we talk about legend cars as Kyle Busch goes to the top with a 48.932. So that's a pretty good lap there for the 8 car. We went down out of kind of the bird's nest, as Mark calls it, at Dells Raceway Park and kind of got lower in the bowl for the legend cars that were flying around there. It is unbelievable how fast those things are going around a place like that. They look like a ton of fun, but man, if something goes wrong, that could be pretty big.
Yeah, they're definitely. I feel like they're pretty safe if they're meant for you and you can fit in there. They do go a little fast, so that's why, like at South Boston, they put the chicane in there just because at a 4/10 mile they thought the speed was a little too great. Especially racing against each other, and things happen. So it's kind of why they added that little touch, and they're definitely fun to drive. It's just with the weight, it kind of just made it to where I was on my way to the racetrack with no hope, and that's a very uneasy feeling. And I haven't felt that in a lot of years in racing. So definitely hard to know when you're getting a legend car that unless someone else wrecks, you're probably finishing last.
How did the TV deal come about for you? Did you have to apply for it? Did they reach out to you? How did you get involved with that whole deal?
They actually reached out to me. So it was late September. I think a bunch of the other people knew about it over the summer, and they probably felt like they needed some more diversity from the Midwest, and they had a lot of guys from the Carolinas and Virginia. So definitely was cool to be down there, but they reached out to me, and I basically had 5 weeks to prepare to go down there.
Did you feel, you just talked about maybe being at a disadvantage, knowing you're going to get in a legend car there. Did you feel like the tracks also were kind of a disadvantage with a lot of the guys that you were competing against having some laps around that place and them racing, late model stocks and other cars that you really haven't gotten into because you've been in super lates for a while?
Yeah, it's definitely not to my favor, and those Cars Tour guys are very good, and you're getting an equipment that they run every week. I felt like I adapted very well to them. I felt like when we got to the ovals with the late models, I finished third to two guys that are top five in Cars Tour points. So it's I felt really good about what I did. It's not really shown too much, and nothing about that show looks too favorable for me, but it's the NASCAR world. It's the world we live in. It's not what it used to be, and racing's not the most fair thing out there anymore. Especially when you get to the NASCAR levels. There's better teams, and there's people that just have advantages for one reason or another, and not always the most talented guys make it to NASCAR.
I wanted to take you back here, Mark. Sorry, because
go ahead.
you were mentioning something there about not so favorable. One thing that I thought they did a good job of showing is you going back and finishing that whole workout, and that you were so close to doing that. And I got to commend you for doing that because that showed a lot. And if anyone else is watching, or maybe they come back to you, that is one thing that I didn't see anyone else do. Maybe they didn't show it, but that says a lot about you and your character that you wanted to finish that whole deal off.
Yeah, I think I was one of the only three of us that actually didn't finish it in the allotted time. So there wasn't many of them that had the opportunity to go back and finish because they already did. But it's part of grew up playing football and kind of the athlete growing up, and you can do a lot more than what you think you can. And I really feel like that kind of showed my heart and how bad I wanted to be there. And that was near the end, and I already knew I probably wasn't winning the seat, and I was just there to have fun, but it's also prove myself and show that I want to be there, not from a physical standpoint, but just mentally, like I care, and even though I'm done, I'm not giving up.
Hey man, it looks like the accommodations was pretty cool, man. You're eating really well and everything like that. What was the place like, man? How'd they set you up down there?
Oh, it was a good time. Definitely had a little too much downtime at the house. It gets boring at times. It's cool to hang out with the guys, but when you're there for a couple days and you don't have races going on, there's only so much pool and shuffleboard and cornhole you can play. But definitely was a cool experience, and sleeping on a single bed, I haven't done that, I don't think, since I was like a really small child. So that was a little different. But it definitely was a great time. I look back on it, and I'm glad I did it. It kind of also showed me a little bit about the NASCAR world, and it's not all it's cracked up to be. And there's a reason why a lot of Wisconsin guys choose to stay where they are, and the racing we got here, those guys down there, they do it for a living, and we do it because we love the game, and those are two very different feelings. That you go down there, and those guys, they're all in it for themselves, and they're playing for jobs, and they're team managers. They're trying to do the best to save their behind and look good on them.
Do you think I should back up a little bit? One of the things I think about is even if you didn't get the seat, you made some connections, and that can sometimes point you in the right direction. Do you think you made some really good connections with some really neat people down there? Do you think that'll lead to something in the future potentially?
From the show, I don't really know. I met it, the cast was awesome, and I have friends for life from that. A few of them that I talk to on a weekly basis. We all have a group chat that we text in, so it's cool to keep a hold of those guys. But at the end of the day, I still feel like it's NASCAR. If you don't bring the money, no one really cares, and don't matter how good you can drive, and you got to be one of the best, to make it there. Like Ty Majeski, you got to win every race you're racing to, even be looked at being 1,000 miles away from Charlotte, and the funding needed to fund a truck team.
You talked about it being boring and some downtime. You guys weren't able to have like phones or
No.
anything like that. So in those boring times, what do? Do you go out for a walk around there? I know some guys were fishing there. How do you keep yourself from not getting too bored? Because especially in today's day and world, yeah, okay, you're bored. You might go on your phone for a little bit and all that. You're not able to do anything like that. What are some of
No.
the activities that maybe you don't get to do because of electronics that you're able to do when you're in a situation like that?
It was, one of those things that we kind of just leaned on each other. Telling stories, hanging out, playing cards. You think on the last time you just sat around with your boys, late at night, just drinking beer and hanging out and playing cards. You don't get to do that enough. So that's definitely, something, you do to pass time and, learn a lot about each other. We're all, share the same passion, and most of us come from, we don't have the funding, and that's kind of what's holding us back and not talent. So we all kind of have our own stories, and especially for me, not knowing any of them, going into it, and them, knowing nothing about me. So definitely cool to, meet a lot of people and, have those connections that, from other series.
One of the other guys on the show, Landon Huffman, just had a podcast that you ended up sharing, and I ended up tuning into that. Seems like Landon's a good watch. I really enjoy his show there. He had some really good things to say about you. I know you guys had some contact on the go kart track a little bit there, but seems like you guys really connected. Who did you connect with the most down there as part of the group?
Well, Landon definitely got to know a lot about him and learned a lot from him. Carson Ferguson, he's a dirt racer. I learned a lot about him and, hung out with him at PRI. I also lost in beers at PRI, but really all 14 of them I'd still keep in contact with, and, as a texter in the group chat, there wasn't any bad people on that show. And, it's definitely people that, you could call any one of them and they'd probably answer and talk to you.
So how's the truck and the super late around here, man? You got them all ready to go here? It's the season's right around the corner, coming fast.
Well, the cars, we didn't need a whole lot of work over the off season. With blowing the motor with 2 races to go at Slinger, so that's sitting pretty fresh, and bodies are in pretty good shape. And the other car for WIR, we ran at the Bigley, so we did a lot of our off season maintenance and rebuilding parts before we went down there. So everything's sitting pretty good. The guys are out; they're actually in the shop right now. I was out there before I came on tonight, and it's 2 months to the icebreaker. The 60 team, we're building the brand new Morrissey truck, so that's still at Morrissey's getting built right now. So definitely Scott and John, and I'll help out when I can, and they got a lot of work to do, but I'm confident it'll be ready to go by April 11th, and we're going to come back even better and stronger.
Is your plan to run for the Midwest Truck Series title again, along with, is the plan kind of the same as last year? I know we talked about that in October when we talked last, but is that the plan now? Is that pretty solid?
Yeah, I'd love to run, more bigger races, but it's the money that it costs to run those is, stupid, and I feel like you don't get much back out of it. That's why I stick to, running supers at the weekly show and the Midwest Truck Series, and it can, help us race, I don't want to say affordably, because no part of racing around the Midwest is affordable, but it definitely keeps costs low, and it allows me to race 40-something times a year and, have a busy schedule. I feel like I get more out of that as a driver compared to running 10 Midwest Tour races in a year.
We talked about this as well the last time, but now that some more time has passed, I'm curious about how you look back on your season. Do you realize what you accomplished last year as it sunk in? I know you're quick to turn to the next year, but truly what you accomplished, we haven't seen up here in a long time. Has it sunk in? Have you allowed it to sink in?
Not really. Just with going to Oktoberfest, and then the truck ends, and you end with a heartbreak in that, and in the end you felt like you lost, and you always forget how much you accomplished over the course of the year. But it has a little bit, but I'm always forward. When the show came, and then it was already Thanksgiving, and we're at the Bigley, and then it's like December, and it feels like it's all finally time to breathe. And I took a couple months off, just kind of tinkering on the cars here and there. But haven't really, spent too much time thinking about it. I'm definitely not, I was definitely satisfied with how the year went last year, but that doesn't matter. No one cares, going into the next year. And you know,
Yeah.
I never won any championships before last year, so I feel like I have a lot to prove and a lot to, it wasn't a fluke, and I'm here to compete for, the next 10 years or however long I decide to race. So it's definitely feel like I got a name to make, and I feel like with the truck, I got a lot of redemption there. Just with how great of a season we had, and although we didn't win the championship, we did have a championship season with it. It just happened. Another truck had just that much better of a year, so it's all part of it, and it gives us something to work for and strive for. But I'm definitely looking for more than what we had last year. Don't want to go backwards.
Is there anything with the show with Ram and Colleague, Ram Race for the Seat, that you wish went differently, or that maybe they could have spotlighted a little more? And I guess I'll share my thought on it. I wish we got to know more about the drivers. Like, you heard Carson Ferguson was a dirt racer, and then he ends up finishing runner up in the competition. But you didn't really know what he's accomplished and all that. And I remember as the show was starting, there was Steven Toronto on Twitter was talking about you actually, and I had chimed in on him, and I said he's had one of the best seasons we've seen up here in a while, and I just felt like people didn't recognize that for not just you but for others. What are some things that you think they could have spotlighted more that you wish had gone differently?
Um, it's kind of tough because they did pay for it. It's funded by Ram and colleagues, so they do want the show to be about their trucks and the races they put on. But I feel like they really missed it with not putting our personalities and showing who we are. And I feel like that was a big selling point for myself. Not a lot of people know who I am. I feel like I'm a pretty unique person, and I have a different personality that not a lot of those guys down south have. So didn't really get a chance to show it on TV to other teams, and I know Chris saw it and all those guys saw it, but at the end, they had their guys that that they wanted, and it wasn't me. So it's kind of I wish my personality would have shown more, so other people down there could have noticed it. And Landon kind of touched on that in his podcast, that it's almost like a missed opportunity for us. And although I don't think it hurt my image, I definitely don't think it helped it as much as I would have anticipated it for. I thought I'd get a little more recognition nationally, and it's a little disappointing. But again, I had a great time doing it. I'd do it again if someone asked me tomorrow. But just a lot of things that could have went a little different. And I'm sure if we went up and raced super late models across the tracks of Wisconsin, it would have been a real different result. So it's kind of life, and how it is racing in Wisconsin, 1,000 miles away from Charlotte and their little bubble that they got there. And it just is what it is. It's part of it, and I'm gonna do next year what I was already gonna do anyway. So no skin off my back, and ready to just get back at it and do what I do with the people I love that surround me, and work hard for the one common goal.
Hey, watching the series, what's that? Anyway. Yeah, so it looked like just watching the series, it looked like they kind of emphasized like they didn't want you to wreck their equipment. Is that true? It sure seemed to be that way on the show.
This is the part that kind of pissed me off. Is it depended who you were. If it was me, they don't want me wrecking their stuff, but and some other guys that I felt like they favored a little bit, they make a mistake, and it's oh, he was going for it and he's just trying hard, where someone else makes a mistake, it's like, you idiot, I can't believe you do that. So it's just the personalities of that I felt were a little unfair from those guys. And at the beginning of the show when I got there, they kind of told me, they've watched every one race, they knew that. And then they turned to me and they're like, we don't know anything about you. So it's like I think they got a tip on me from somebody else, and they didn't do a lot of research on me, and they just, I feel like I was invited as a filler a little bit. And I had a good time, and I'm appreciative for the opportunity, but just definitely feel like I just didn't get to show what I can do behind the wheel, and kind of feel like I got a lot to prove, and kind of lit a fire under my rear end, and ready to just show them all that they're wrong.
That's a good outlook to have there on it there, buddy. I just have to stop here the conversation for a moment here. Corey Heim has locked in as the first open car, and Corey LaJoy just ran as the last open car and went just slower than Justin Allgaier. So the two open cars that are locked into the 500 are Corey Heim and Justin Allgaier. LaJoy missed it by 0.004 of a second.
He'll be all right when race time comes.
I agree with you. I'll tell you, I told Mark this off screen. I said if I knew LaJoy was locked in, we do that pick'em deal where you can only use 3 drivers. LaJoy would have been my pick to use as like a sneaker to do well. But that's pretty cool for junior motorsports, I guess. They had to race their way in last year. I know some people will probably call me a homer with the whole Dale Jr. thing, but that's all right. Justin Allgaier in with junior motorsports and Traveler Whiskey. I think that's good for the sport. So it'll be interesting to see the duels here because you would think LaJoy has a good opportunity, but you just never know what can happen in those duels.
No, hopefully everyone, a lot of those, chartered cars are just they're in the duels ceremonially nowadays, so they're normally not racing super hard, and normally by the time it gets spread out, and if they have green flag pit stops, it ends up being a pretty safe race, and they respect the guys that are racing for their way into the race.
Yeah. Seems like usually one is caution filled and one isn't. It's kind of strange over the years of how that's worked.
Depends how close the bubble is too, and if there's 2 cars running real close, it heats up a little bit.
Who's your pick for the poll here, Grant? So we haven't touched on that yet. Do you have a thought on who might get up there?
Well, it'd be hard to bet against the Hendrick cars. Normally they're right there every year, and the Toyotas normally aren't qualifiers on super speedways. They're there in the race, and normally that 48 and 24 are pretty quick. I think they'll be the front row.
We were talking before you hopped on. I think they did have the moment, what was it, last year or 2 years ago, where Hendrick kind of didn't qualify. Maybe it was at the Daytona race in the summer, where they didn't qualify as good as you thought, and the Fords really came back on. Fords are usually right up there as well. For some reason, I'm thinking Blaney or Cindric, but Hendrick here's the Hendrick Motorsports 2-time Daytona 500 pole sitter, and that would be Chase Elliott on track here. So we'll see what kind of speed Hendrick Motorsports brought this year, I guess. But yeah, I think Penske might have something to say about it this year as well.
Yeah, I feel like Hendrick, they tune him back a little bit on the handling side when it comes to summertime because you don't have the duel and more practice to take it back out. And the pole for this race means a lot more than it does for a random summer Daytona race. So I feel like they'll bring it on. He's close to Zilich, which is another Chevy. He's probably one of my favorite guys in the Cup Series now coming up. Definitely super talented, and he's definitely one to watch. He'll be around for 20, 30 years to come.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely. How close will you pay attention to the colleague trucks since you had this opportunity with them? How close will you pay attention to them racing this year, or maybe specifically Mini Tyrrell? Will you pay attention pretty closely to that?
I'll follow it like I used to. I'm not big into watching racing when I'm not racing. Just part of me, like, why would I watch racing when I can just go do it myself? But I'll definitely be paying attention. I definitely think they're going to have an uphill climb. Luckily, they got 5 trucks to, start with notes, but they're starting fresh and, starting with nothing. So they got a lot of work to do, and I know that Ram's putting a lot of funding behind it to, where I do feel like by the end of the year they can be competing, and bringing in Tony Stewart's, awesome. And, I feel like Butterbean and Justin Haley can be, really good, and Justin especially right out of the gate. And Daniel Dye might have a little bit of learning yet to do, but I feel like they'll be there and in contention. But the Tricon trucks are definitely going to be hard to beat again.
Did you get anything like a driver's suit or like that? You look good in black and yellow, dude. Did he? I got
like a bunch of shirts and sweatshirts. I got to keep my suit. It was a little it's screen printed on, so I don't think it'll last very long if I were to wear it that often. But just some little race equipment. I didn't get a helmet or nothing like that, but I got a cool suitcase. But not a ton. I'm probably just gonna keep the suit in the closet and maybe frame it as a cool memory or something like that. And maybe at the first truck race I'll wear it and at the icebreaker. But other than that, not a lot of stuff that I'll wear forever, but definitely a lot of cool clothes and a lot of memories.
Byron has just gone. He is outside the top 10, so his
Man.
shot at the front row or pole is done.
Yeah, they're switching it up. The Priest is up there too.
So
That's
yeah,
60. Man.
yep. Elliott's fourth, so that's the one of the Hendrick cars here. Shane Van Gisbergen on track now. We'll see what he's got now that they switched to the chase for points. It's no longer win and you're in, so we'll see what he's got. They go down to 4 road courses this year as well, so he's got less opportunity to run some races that he's an expert at. So we'll see what he's got. He has learned quite a bit on the ovals, though. Like usually during the third stage, especially when you think back in him running the Xfinity series, or excuse me, O'Reilly Auto Parts series. There it is again. Dang it. But SVG, he really came on in that third stage when we was racing for in the O'Reilly series. So is that going to transition now in the Cup series now?
It's still tops. I feel like if he wins 3 out of the 4 road courses, he'll make it because I think it's 15 or 20 bonus points to win, so that'll make up for as long as he can stack top 15, top 20s. I think he'll be right there. And there's no road courses in the chase anymore. I don't think he'll do anything there, but definitely think he'll be right around there.
We got some comments coming in here. Mike Winnick says you're a class act, Hollywood. And something about being in the 56. I'm not sure what that's regarding, but Kevin Hiding says they rerun the top 10, so the lock-in could change if LaJoy runs faster. Is that true? Because the 40 team was really celebrating pretty hard there.
They got a line under the 10 spots, so yeah, the top 10 get to re-go.
Right, we know that, but does that mean that Allgaier is not locked because the 40 teams celebrated like they were locked in after that first race?
I don't think they would be if the top 10's got to re-go, so they could all be shuffled the other way.
That would be disappointing for them if they celebrated that hard and then ended up not making it. Yee.
Normally they're not in the top 10. How many cars have went so far?
That's a great question. Where are we on the lineup here? I got it right here. So Chastain's on track now. So he is the 32nd car to qualify. Next up will be Cody Ware.
I guess 4 are going to have to beat.
It's going to be tight.
Joy to knock him out of the top 10.
It's going to be tight. Or if they're both knocked out, then
okay, I would still get it.
Yeah, so but you're right. If 4 get it, don't matter anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So they're interviewing Brad Keselowski now. He's been walking around with that cane after that accident that he had there. Glad that he's going to get back in the car here, though, and it's always fun to see him at Daytona. And I don't think any track owes anyone anything, but boy, he's been close in this race.
Mm-hmm.
They said they'll have that cane probably till May. So he said it's coming along real well, though. He's healing well, but he ain't no young chicken, though, So don't heal up as fast.
Yeah.
No, I'm surprised he's racing at all after that, to be honest with you.
And to start at Daytona, where we've seen some wrecks there that are pretty scary.
Mm-hmm. I know Kyle Busch broke his leg there, so there's more than just back injuries and head and stuff like that. There's a lot of things to worry about when you get at tracks like that.
No doubt. Cody Ware driving for Rick Ware Racing, and of course they're another team that switched from Ford to Chevy. So we'll see what they do being under the Chevy banner now. Chris Buescher, this is another one I think you could watch out for.
Mm-hmm. definitely.
Nice
They
looking car.
they switched over the Fastenal blue to the Bodyguard orange, so it won't be Fastenal this year. It'll be Bodyguard, which is a brand underneath Fastenal. So look at this car. This is a beautiful looking race car. Although it's a Ford, but
That means he's not handicapped. He's all right.
Yeah.
he's putting a good time here. He's looks like he's tracking to be inside the top 10.
That's 17 with the Biffle font. Looks real awesome.
Yeah, I like that too.
Definitely seeing Greg, now knowing it was only a few weeks before the crash happened was definitely also something on the show to look back on. That's something you'll never forget, and see a legend of the sport like that just kept wanting to give back is, right before it happened, was pretty heartbreaking for all of us.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up at some point too because as Busher goes fourth, so now LaJoy has only got 2 cars to the cut line here. He's 8th, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, that episode was hard to watch because Greg putting in time and taking the effort with you guys, and it just seemed like he was. You always hear he's an awesome guy, and it looked like he took the time to answer any question you guys had, took the time to show you around. That was an emotional episode to watch.
Yeah, definitely. It just, you never know, when it's your time, and we could all die tomorrow. So he definitely lived life, and I'm to the fullest, and especially after retirement, with the cool stuff he was doing with Cletus, and I'm glad Cletus is still, on that journey to run the Daytona 500 one day, and he keeps moving up the ladder.
Yeah.
How was the Hall of Fame doing? How was that place? I want to go to Charlotte and go there. What did you think of that?
I've been there a few times. When we were there this time for the show, we only saw like the cars on the bottom, so they have a lot of cool stuff upstairs that we just didn't get to see. But I was there over the summertime when I was out there for work, and it's definitely cool to see a lot of the history, and the cars are cool. But you go upstairs, there's a lot of cool artifacts and smaller pieces and suits and helmets and wrecked race cars, and there's all kinds of cool stuff to see there. It's right in the downtown location, so it's a little challenging to park and get there, but definitely something everyone's got to see once.
Yeah, I badly want to get out there too. Eventually, one of these years, that'll get to the top of the list, and we'll make the trek out there.
They fly direct right out of Appleton, right straight to Charlotte, dude. So easy peasy there.
Well, shoot, I think I got a few vacation days left. Maybe we
Let's
should
do it.
We could do a live out at Charlotte.
Yeah, you have to wait till Memorial Day or something.
Yeah. That's off limits for Mark. We found out the hard way. We were supposed to go to the Indy 500 this year. So that's not happened Memorial Day weekend this year, huh, buddy?
Yeah, we got it on the calendar before we made the plans for that for a family outing for Memorial Day. So better luck next year. Well, I've already got it on there, so we'll go in 2027.
You at least coming to the slinger race that night?
And that would be what, Memorial?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'll be all over the state that weekend. You got Kakana Thursday, Slinger Sunday, Plover Monday. We'll be making our rounds then.
Yeah, you'll be in the thick of it then.
Yeah, that's normally when it starts 2-3 times a week. So that's when the fun starts.
Well, yeah, Slinger's got that 3-race series that's running this summer, isn't it?
Yeah, they got the Triple Crown that's inside the 6-race series. So they got the 3 holiday shows, Memorial Day, Labor Day, 4th of July, and then the other 3 that'll be make for 6 points races will have their own Triple Crown, kind of their version of it. And love what Travis and Kelsey are doing, and they're really helping Slinger grow. And with these big purses, they're getting a lot of good cars. Like I know Ty Majeski's coming. I've heard a lot of other big Super Late Model names that are at least going to run the Triple Crown.
Yeah, that'll be a cool thing to see how that does down there. And you're also the defending red, white, and blue champion, so that's another not Triple Crown, but 3-race series that we're looking forward to. That'll be big up here again.
Yeah, definitely. I like the short series. You can't have anything go wrong in a 3-race series, so you got to be on your game. And it's not like a regular points championship where you got to collect top 5s. You got to collect top 3s and fast times to be able to take home a 3-race series champion. championship. So definitely it'd be cool to win one of those and win a race at Slinger this year. With the thing with Slinger was with the limited amount of races they do, they're all big. So even if it's not a Triple Crown, if it's a holiday show, any one of them would be cool to win. I haven't won there, and it'll be 9 years this year. So definitely a lot of close ones last year. I think we finished second 3 times. So I'm ready to break through and finally win one. Got the championship before the win. So
now going for the win over the championship, right? No, probably not. But
well, those normally go hand in hand. But just keep collecting good runs, and you find yourself running top 3. Even if you don't have winning speed, you can find yourself in victory lane sometimes. Last year I had a couple of those go my way. So you got to be up there, and it's racing. Stuff happens.
that's an interesting pairing there, Kyle Busch and Cletus McFarlane. A couple of racers there. Boy, how about Briscoe? He goes second, and Steve Burmeister said that's his pick for the pole. So this is kind of showing. I know I alluded to it a little bit earlier that the Toyotas kind of put a little bit more effort into qualifying, it seems, on these super speedways over the last year or so. Gibbs also tracking okay. LaJoie's down to 9th now, so he's got a 1-car buffer.
It looks like after Gibbs, it'll be a no-car buffer.
Yeah, and they got some heavy hitters coming yet. So
he's losing time.
After Gibbs,
he's coming back.
Yep, he's going to get him. After Gibbs, it's going to be Blaney, Larson, Logano, Bell, Cindric, Wallace, Kozlowski, Bowman, and Denny Hamlin will be the 45th and final qualifier. So I'm going to say that LaJoie's out, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I've not bought a lot of NASCAR gear in a very long time, but I'm wearing one of my items today, William Byron kind of red, white, and blue, that Raptor car that he had out earlier. I think that car is super sharp looking, so I bought some gear of that. And the other guy I bought it for was Ryan Blaney. This Menards scheme is one of my favorites.
You'll have to get Mark a Hendrick shirt for his birthday.
Yeah. And a Chevy hat.
Yeah.
If you're going to give it to me, give it to me. I'll wear it. Tell me.
Oh, Blaney down the backstretch lost some ground.
He's only running 90% throttle, dude.
Well, everyone's only run 90%. I think that's a little off there.
Yeah, I don't get why they even put those on TV. It's like at the Packer game when they put like the decibel reader on there. It's not true. They did that on the show a little bit too. We were at the road course. They just make stuff up and put it on there. It looks cool.
Oh.
I don't know if you've made this connection at all, but Dan Stillman is one of the crew chiefs for Colleague in the trucks. I think he's going to be crew chiefing for Daniel Dye. He's a friend of my family's there, so
I've heard it. I don't know if I met him when I was down there or not. Just a lot of meeting people down there. It kind of gets overwhelming, and I have an old brain. I forget a lot of stuff. So
it only gets better. It only gets better.
Yeah. So no, definitely.
Yeah.
We'll see how Colleague does, and we'll see if they end up moving to Dodge in 2027. I know it's kind of inevitable, and they're probably going to have a little bit of a throwaway, year here with the Cup cars, and Chevy's kind of, they knew it was coming when they announced the Ram stuff, that all the, Chevy Alliance is going to get dropped, and their kind of goal is to be the Hendrick or the Penske or the Gibbs, of Dodge when that comes back, and that opportunity is hard to pass up. Yeah,
kind of like when Gibbs went to Toyota.
Mm-hmm. They're open. That's what it gets them. But it's hard to enter the sport, especially the trucks. The Cup cars might be a little easier because it seems like they're all the same. But
LaJoie has been knocked out by Larson, so that is official now that Corey Heim and Justin Allgaier are in the show. I love that old school paint scheme too. There's something about that paint scheme that just is incredible. But anyway, yeah, we're going to have Dan Stillman on the show here probably coming up in March. We had him on last year. We just had his brother Dave on not too long ago, and Terry Korth is a very good friend of the Stillmans, and he says that Dan definitely knows of you, Grant. So, yeah, we also got some other comments here. So, Eric Steingraber must be is that your uncle, Eric?
No, that's my dad's friend, Eric.
Oh,
close.
okay.
It's basically uncle growing up.
Yeah, what did he say here? Are you still working for CrossFit? From your uncle Eric. So,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah. No, I have not been doing CrossFit. I will say that. I've been trying to work out a little more in my free time here, but trying to get out in the shop and balance it all right now. Doesn't help that I'm in the midst of tax season and I sit in an office chair 50, 60 hours a week right now, but trying to get back at it.
Hey, did you drink beer down there like you were from Wisconsin? Did you show them that you were from Wisconsin down there?
I did a little bit, but once a few got there, I didn't. With not knowing anybody and with what they were going to put on TV, now that I know that they weren't going to put too much from the house on TV, I kind of just chilled out and tried to be responsible. I didn't want that to be my image down there.
Yeah.
What else do we got here? Steve Burmeister says Kozlowski said that's the most pain he's ever been in. I believe that 100%. Corey Wenzel wants to know all of our thoughts on the qualifying effort so far. Shocking that Byron probably missed. I'll say that's probably number one on my mind. And then, yeah, the top, Busch, I think Kyle Busch might have a sneaky good season. And with the chase, are people going to race a little differently since it's not winning you're in? And Kyle Busch being fast right off the gate here, I don't know. Could this be shaping up for a pretty good season for the A car? Could he rebound nicely this year?
Oh, definitely could. Consistency still is the name of the game, but with the bonus points winning, that's still definitely going to be a key piece if you want to win a championship.
Well, Busch couldn't wait till the calendar got turned because that was just plain bad luck all the way around last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had a tough year, and he was easy to hate, years ago. But as the older he gets, the more it's you respect what he's done for the sport. And when he was acting the way he was 10 years ago, you look back on it, and he could act that way because he wins. So when you win, you can do whatever you want.
I often feel too the best athletes have a little bit of that in them. I'm not going to say you have to have it in you, but it seems like the best athletes have that and let it known and act that way to an extent. So, yeah, you're right though. When you're winning, that kind of cures everything, and you can kind of do whatever.
You can be who you can afford to be.
But if you win too much, they boo you. They were booing Jimmy Johnson. I mean, a representative of a 7-time champion, and they're booing him just only because he wins too much. So Grant, keep an eye on that. All of a sudden, people might turn on you.
That's all right with me. I don't take the cheers or the boos. You look at it, even the Midwest, you get with Ty Majeski when he shows up. For no rhyme or reason other than he wins all the time, people have learned to not like him, and that's something that I don't quite understand at the local level sometimes. But definitely you can get too good, and then people just hate you because you're too good. Stink up the show.
Well, if they're making any kind of noise, that's what you're looking for, right? Whether it's jeers or cheers. You're doing something if they're doing that here. So, Cindric, he missed. Wow, he was fastest in practice this morning,
15th,
and he has missed the top 10. Well, shoot, there went my pick for the poll. So,
looks like we all lost, unless Bowman has to go yet. There you go.
Bowman is second to last, so he will. So it's Bubba right now, Brad, Bowman, and Hamlin coming up here. So, what a huge win for Bubba Wallace last year in the Brickyard 400. Man, had to work his butt off for that, but just a massive win doing that and coming to a place like Daytona now. He usually runs well here too.
He's been close a few times in the 500.
Yep. I remember that year Who won it that year? Was it? It wasn't when Cindric. I don't think it was
Was it
when Cindric
Hamlin?
won. Maybe it was. No, him and Hamlin made contact. He was still in the 43 car and he ran second. And him and
Gotcha.
Hamlin had a
Just scuff up,
uh,
yeah, after the line, yeah.
Little disagreement. Yeah.
yeah, a tiff. Yeah, looks like
Oh.
he's gonna miss it too. Well,
Well,
Austin
well,
Dillon hanging tough on that bubble.
we'll see tomorrow once when they all get in the draft. The 150s will tell a lot. You know, qualifying is one thing, but being in the draft is another.
Here, this is a cool stat. So, active champions looking for first Daytona 500 win. Obviously, Keselowski and Kyle Busch lead that. Larson, Blaney, and Chase Elliott also. This is Kyle Busch's 21st attempt at the 500.
Damn.
Yeah. All this, the six, just the six alone in the Biffle font looks pretty sharp.
Mm-hmm.
They
This is a
all do.
live show. I'll be right back. I use the bathroom.
All right.
Station break.
I can mute him until he gets back here, so we'll do that.
Castro, they always have great paint jobs.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, look at that 6 font on there. You know, that's
I like that.
Nice. That's very nice.
Looks like
He's not going to get in there either. It's this is a strange qualifying, but hey, look, Chevy, Toyota, Ford, Chevy, Toyota, Ford, Chevy, Ford, Toyota. Wow, you want parity? It's there.
It's there.
It's there. That's what NASCAR wants.
Wow. Yeah, this is a little bit of a shock. You would think I would have thought Keselowski, Cindric, Blaney, Byron, those four kind of missing it there are the biggest stories to me. So
Bowman
right,
always finds a way on the front
Bowman.
row.
Grant, so here's your shot at it. Plus,
There it
Larson
is.
and Elliott are still in. So you kind of said Hendrick. I know you mentioned the 24, but
The 24 has the speed, but the 48's right there with them. There were a lot of years of, Byron and Bowman and Gordon and Jimmy.
oh yeah,
Always at Daytona. They make it known. See, it looks like he's got good speed coming to the line.
Yeah.
looked like he got a little loose there in 1 and 2. And I think he did because now he's losing some ground. Well, he's recovering. Yeah, that
Always
track
finds a way in the front row.
take on character, man.
I guess all you gotta do is make the top 10, so then you get a redo anyway.
Right.
I wonder if it's an advantage to go right back, because I think they go in reverse order, so 10th will go first.
Yeah.
Or if it's an advantage to go out when it's a little warm yet, or wait till it cools down when it's warm, less drag, and all the oil's getting hot, and might help the time a little bit to be closer to 10th.
Wow.
All the way up to 4th. So Denny Hamlin, the last one coming up here. Bowman's paint scheme is pretty cool. I like that teal on there with the purple. I guess Danielle Bain kind of had that kind of paint scheme last year. She showed up to the Dells with that.
Definitely a unique color scheme.
Still weird not seeing Denny in the FedEx car.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing. Also, he's got different kind of sponsor here. No FedEx there. All right, kind of a different kind of job there.
Josh Anthony is asking us if we think Logano shaving his head is a speed secret. Well, we mentioned that they can no longer redirect the air by putting their arm up in the window, so maybe.
Maybe. Can't get the webbed gloves anymore that he had either.
Yeah. Yeah, I think though that he's done well with telling people what he's got, because a lot of people struggle with that alopecia that he has. So I think he'll be a good advocate for it. I know more about that than some people, with my wife being an ex hairdresser. So yeah, Hamlin's gonna get in.
Yeah, Hamlin's in.
Logano just squeaks in. So Logano, I have Logano there, I guess.
It looks like
Whoa.
Kyle's a tenth faster than everybody else too.
Yeah, yeah,
Definitely, that's a lot.
that is.
Everyone else is right on top of each other.
Only one in the 48s. That's pretty crazy.
And Briscoe's got a good half tenth on Priest, so those two might be repeats.
Yeah. Heim making it is a pretty good story too.
Yeah, they must have really sold out for qualifying on that car, and then the duel tomorrow really doesn't matter. So
switch it back to race mode for the duels tomorrow, and
I don't know what they can adjust tomorrow, and if they can do a whole lot before the race, or if they have to wait till practice on Friday. They got all kinds of different impound rules, and no practice tomorrow.
there was some guys who had great practice sessions that are not in the final 10. Austin Cindric, Chastain's not, LaJoy is not. Bubba didn't make it. Suarez, Jones. Wow.
We'll
But,
see.
I mean, you're talking about daylight to nighttime, and who knows what they changed and how that
Draft.
affects their cars.
People can draft to look at
True.
the top of the board.
Yeah.
My dad really likes when we win practice. I don't get too into it, but
Oh, Gregson said he totally forgot about the hand rule. Did he put up his hand?
They caught him on camera coming out of turn 2 with his hand up in the corner. Yeah.
And that'll
He
be
wasn't listening at the drivers' meeting. He wasn't listening.
That would never happen.
I feel like that's something someone would remind you of right before you got into that you can't do it anymore.
You would think.
All the time that goes into preparing for that.
Yeah. Even while you're on track, you would think the spotter would chime in as you're going down the backstretch coming to the green flag or something,
The car count for the super lates really went down tonight at New Smyrna.
Yeah, I would wonder why that would be.
Yeah.
Well, not only they wreck, but it's once you get past the 200 and they're all done tuning up for that, normally they've had enough. That's a grueling week down there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's just not the racing, but you got to do the lodging, sleep. You got to eat. You're on the road. It's got to add up. That'd be even hard just for a fan to go down there and go through all that just to be a fan.
And it's all day, every day, especially, having to get there at, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning and you're there till midnight, and there seems like there's no end in sight sometimes of that stuff.
That happy hour is a pretty good show too of Kevin Harvick's. I like that too. I think I can put my notes away now. It's pretty early.
Got everything covered there already there, buddy?
Think so. Well, other than the time that we'll be going racing over the next few days. I like that. Qualified first in round 1.
And he was one of the first ones out, so everything's cooled off better for him. But
well, Grant brought up an interesting point. Is that going to be better, or is it not?
Yeah, we'll see.
But he's got a
it might not matter for him.
So, yeah, I don't think it matters as long as he doesn't make any mistakes. But
man, how do you think the point system will change things? Do you think that will? I know the extra 15 points or so for winning now are still going to be massive. But do you think, some people might not take the chances that they have taken in the past few years, or do you think it won't matter at all?
I think some might, but you'll see less chances for taking a win. If it's a true Hail Mary and getting really off strategy that can backfire, you'll see less teams doing that. And, for those bottom teams that although the win's very important to get the win, it doesn't change their points outlook by 20 positions like it would in prior years. So I think you'll see less desperation for it, and you'll see a lot more. I think the top 8 to 10 drivers will be winning a lot more often than what they used to.
Yeah. I didn't think it would matter too much now if you're right there on the white flag, maybe.
Yeah,
But I don't think you're going to take that risk earlier in the race now.
you'll definitely make a move, but you don't want to wreck yourself and give up a good run.
Yeah. Have you tried the Traveler's Whiskey at all that Justin Allgaier has on his car? Have you tried that?
I have not.
No.
I haven't drank whiskey in a while. I had my run in college, and now I'm back to just vodka and beer. But
that was
I kept Jack Daniels busy I kept them in business when I was in the Navy, and when I got home, I don't think I've ever touched Jack Daniels after I got out. Just like you can only have so much.
Yeah, you get too used to it, and then you're like, you need a change of pace.
That's exactly right.
You got to get the Red Stag.
That's good stuff. I will
That
say
is
that.
good stuff.
Tastes like cherries.
Yes, sir.
One of my crew guys doesn't agree, but I always love it.
Well, you got to be. You can't overindulge. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go there today, but
No.
yeah.
When you're shaking for shots on a Thursday night, after a good run, it's a good choice.
If you know, you know. Okay.
Yeah, you're right, Mark. If you know, you know. There has been witnesses and stories over the years. Hey, they're showing this new. I don't want to say it's a documentary. I'm not exactly sure what to call it. Series show about Dale Earnhardt and about kind of afterwards what happened after he had passed away. This is going to be a little bit different than all the other shows that have been made about him. I'm really, really curious about this one.
Yeah, definitely cool to learn about all that stuff and who he was. Don't mean to pull it, but he died before I was born, so it's cool to learn about pre-Grant history.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you weren't around for that.
He probably, if he stayed alive, he probably would be the president of NASCAR.
I disagree.
And I probably would think that there would be no such thing as a lucky dog either, because he always believed that you earn everything. You don't get nothing handed to you. And he was one of the biggest spokesmen for that. And I'm sure if he walked in the office and told Mr. France that's probably the way it would have went.
Here, you and I talked about this off camera, Mark, and I disagree with the president of NASCAR for one simple fact. I think if he was still around, DEI would have been the main priority until he went away. I don't think he would have messed around with being on the other side of it. I think it would have been all DEI.
I think it still could be around today if he didn't pass.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I'm not going to say he wouldn't have any influence, because I think he did have some influence throughout all of his years, but I don't know that he would have took that on with DEI, because, man, they had it going on when he passed, and who knows what would have happened, I guess. Maybe they touch on that in this,
Yeah. You never know how Dale Jr. would have ended up. It still would have been a successful career, but with his Xfinity team and, what he's done for the sport, too, if he would have done that if his dad was still around.
Might have been the next in line instead of going away. And
would have been living in the shadow a little bit.
And talk about his career a little bit. Did that hurt his career? He didn't have someone to teach him a little bit more about it and things like that. I don't know.
Hearing from him, though, it doesn't sound like his dad was overly involved in that kind of stuff. He's there for advice, but he wasn't like the coach in his ear every day.
The only thing I wonder is because Dale was getting closer to retirement, right? Would that have changed? Because it sounded like they were turning that corner at the time of his passing. Does that change?
Yeah.
We'll never know.
Well, wasn't meant to be.
Burmy is saying moo. You know what that means, Mark?
It's right here. Yeah, I just got to go get some. I got to go get a gallon of milk. So yeah, moo for milk. It's like a White Russian, and it's got a little extra vodka in it. And hey, once when you're coating your stomach with milk, you don't get a hangover from it. So that's it's called a dirty mother. I learned about that at the Tiki House down in Pensacola Beach, and remembered that recipe. And we all do a sociable out of a hospital water cup. The water pitcher, and that's been going that way for the last 40 years, and it's still going on today.
I feel like drinking milk while you're drinking would make you a little full.
Yeah. I went down to Pennsylvania, that same place where I learned, and they're under new management, and they never heard of it before. And they kind of like, you got a little tequila with milk and vodka and Kahlua, and she kind of, if you want me to make it for you, I can. I just like, no, if you don't know nothing about it, then we'll just pass on that. But yeah, that was at the right on the beach at Pensacola, right by the beach ball water tower there.
That was that's now the dock, correct?
The dock, yeah. But it's still the same, man. Still got the same garage doors, the pool tables in the same spot.
You got to remember the name. They sponsor a ton of racing down there. It's all
yeah.
The Dock Sportsman Series is what
it's a beautiful place in this country, man, down there. Pensacola Beach. Yep. I love that place.
Have you been down to Pensacola at all, Grant? And any thoughts on maybe running the Derby in the future?
That's definitely on the bucket list. I don't know. You really got to have your stuff together to go do that. So I don't know if that's this year or 5 years down the road. I'd like to make it down there eventually. I've watched the Snowball Derby once, and my dad winters in Orange Beach, Alabama, 30 minutes down the road. So I normally make it down there every few years, and I'm not huge, and I always watch that race on TV, and I'd love to be down there, but normally I'm busy enough and burn all my time off of work working on race cars over the summer. So it comes to that time of year, normally I'm burrowed down working on my own cars and catching up on work hours.
Yeah.
It's still a trek to get down to the Freedom Factory, though. Same kind of thing, though.
Yeah, and I needed a lot of help to make that work, especially being gone, for the 3 weeks before with the show. And I kind of put that on the guys and said, it's like, I want to do this, but you guys want to, are going to have to want to do it too to make it work. So I had a lot of guys that stepped up, helped get the car down there. I flew down there and met them there. So definitely a lot of other people that helped make that work.
Hey, this isn't racing related, but did you go to Pewaukee High School?
Yep. 2020.
2020. There was a kid from there who just graduated. I think he graduated 2 years ago. That was pretty good at basketball.
Milan Momcilovic plays for Iowa State. Yep.
Who's the other one? He plays at St. Thomas now.
Is it Nick Janoski?
Yes, Janoski.
Yep,
yeah.
He went to Nebraska for a year. Yep.
He did, and now he's at St. Thomas. Try to keep up with him. We Mark and I go down to high school state. We've gone the last what is it, Mark? 3 years now?
Yeah, 2. And we're gonna even expand a little bit more this year, and we're going for a third year.
Yeah, Pewaukee. And Janoski really impressed me. I didn't get to see Milan in person, but obviously he's doing really well at Iowa State.
Yeah, he was with he was kind of the tandem when Nick and him won 3 state championships in a row. They were kind of the two, and you got one guard and one big guy, and they both can shoot the lights out.
And did his brother go to St. Thomas as well, Milan's? He was with Janoski, I think. Yeah.
Maybe in the grade below. I think he might have. That would have been way, because Milan was a freshman, I was a senior, and I think Nick he was in 8th grade when I was a senior, so that was a little after my time.
There's a Holy Cross Men's Open they caught up here. It's at in Kaukauna. There's a church, Holy Cross, and man, we got to see Con Knipple grow up through there. His dad played in it every year, and his uncle Jeff Norgard, and then they created a team. It was Nick Janoski, Con Con. I think the Badger backup center was down there too. I can't think of his name right now. But anyway, yeah, those were some good years. But Pewaukee has had a pretty good good run so far.
Yeah, definitely not the team you'd think would make it. They all just work together, and that's normally how Pewaukee sports succeed. Normally they don't have you know killer athletes, and they just they win by strategy and working together.
Are they the Pirates? Is that what they are?
Mhm.
The Pirates
Yep.
of Pewaukee?
What's
Anyway,
Pewaukee famous for there, buddy? What's in Pewaukee that other people wouldn't know about?
The Watt brothers. That's about it.
yeah. Well, they got that go kart track that's pretty close
Yeah,
there.
K1. It used to be
K1.
Veloce back when I went there a few weeks ago for a birthday party, but I haven't been there in years. But it still looks about the same, and it's a fun place to go to.
I went there, Veloce, and I will be man enough to admit this. I was god awful. I think there was people lapping me. Road course racing is it's not my deal, and something like that. I
Yeah,
don't know. I'd need more practice at it, but
yeah.
man, they do go fast. They are fun.
Oh yeah, for sure. Road course racing's always it's a good change of pace. Like, that was probably my favorite thing from the show was like running the late models on VIR. Like that was not like I've never done anything like that, and they just throw you in a car and say go do it, and that was jump curbs, and you're going 140 down a straightaway, and you got to get down to 30, and by the way, you're going uphill, you can't see the corner, and you got to turn right. And that's definitely was an awesome feeling. Although I didn't do as good as I would have liked. That wasn't terrible, but it was the time of my life. I'd love to do
That's a
that
pretty
again.
historic track too. Although I say that, and the thing I immediately think of at VAR is that's where wasn't it Brad Keselowski as well crashed really extremely hard there, like not
Uh,
good doing a test session down there.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I never heard of the track until I got there.
Hmm.
Till we pulled, they didn't tell us where we were going every day. You just you got there and oh, this is what we're doing today. You could kind of pick up some context clues once in a while, but
Might be one of those things where at the NASCAR level you got to adapt pretty quickly, and they're
yeah,
going
that's
all
why they give
different.
you limited practice, and that was something not a lot of us have done. But a lot of those guys have had ARCA starts at road courses or legend car road course experience. Normally something. And it had been since go karts as when I was 9 years old for me, so it was still a blast. That was a time when I went down there to do cool stuff, and that was definitely that's something I'd want to do again.
They showed that blow up between Rife and why
The
can't
Trevor
yeah,
Ward.
Trevor Ward. Um, how big was that actually? Was that a pretty big deal or?
It was a funny moment, and Tanner, he went into it like me, where no one really knew him and he knew nobody, and he struggled with that, and that's why a lot of it. And he's young, so he didn't kind of know his place sometimes, and he wasn't the best with other people, and other people kind of misunderstood that sometimes as he's being an ass, and it's like you kind of gotta rein it in a little bit and know your your people you're dealing with. So definitely was a little bit played up, but he definitely overreacted and pouted about it for a couple of days.
Was there any other moments where a couple of guys or you guys didn't get along, or was it pretty
No,
kosher for the
it
most
was
part?
like Tanner was the only one that had his moments, but we all got along really well, and it, again, friends for a lifetime. Like people that I would have never met, and definitely cool to have friends in every kind of racing. Modifieds, cars tour, those smart tour modifieds down there, and there's definitely just a lot of people. Johnny Cash was there, and he was one of the older guys, and although it's a young man's game a little bit, but there's a lot of wisdom, and what he had to share, and I feel like that's why he was there to kind of help, you know, guide us young guys a little bit, and help us out, move along, and realize some important things about racing that might overlook.
I noticed he had a poker face. That's the way I kind of took him, man.
He's very unemotional. He's hard to read. And it's definitely learned a lot from him. And although he doesn't come off as a big character on the show, he's definitely a one of a kind and definitely someone to look up to. Just things that he's kind of the father figure in the house, and we were calling him Gramps, and then he actually had his first granddaughter, I believe, like the third to last night. We were all gone for the show, and his wife called and told the producer, and then told him. So he missed out on that, but it was kind of a funny moment, like calling him Grandpa the whole time, and come to find out at the end he went home with Grandpa.
Wow, to miss that though, that's
Yeah.
All right, here is the fifth car to go, Kyle Larson. So we'll see how this first five do. Heim is impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Each car that goes out just is just an inch faster than before. So
We'll see here. Larson's tight with Heim. I don't know if Larson's going to do it.
I really wonder how accurate these ghost cars are.
I know.
Sometimes they get to the line and then they jump half a tenth.
Right. That looks pretty close there.
it was close.
As far as like, not obviously it's close, but I mean like
Yeah.
we're talking about the ghost cars that you didn't see that surge that you sometimes see.
Yeah.
So right now it's Heim, Larson, Buscher, Elliott, Logano with Bowman on track. He is
Still a real shame that Heim didn't get a full-time ride in anything this year. I know 2311's probably waiting for him, and I know why Herb still has that ride, but part of me doesn't know why. So it's kind of that he belongs there, and it's, sometimes you hope he doesn't get shuffled out, and in a year everyone kind of forgets what he did, and you just hope he doesn't get another guy that just gets marred because there's no opportunities.
Mm-hmm. I tell you what, if he captures the front row here, that'll be a quick statement to begin the season.
I think he's ready with Bowman.
Coming back a little. Boy, this is going to be close.
I think I'm like 10 seconds behind you guys. Well, my TV's right on. I just didn't think it'd look good if I was looking like this the whole time.
Oh, you're fine. Yeah. I'm sure there's times where I'm like off to the side. And
I set my phone right under my screen.
Wow.
Well, and survived that one.
Yeah.
Well,
a big 4 to go. I think Kyle's still got it.
I think so too.
Especially that they haven't picked up any times. I think here they're going about the same speed as what they did last time.
Now Hamlin's able to go 99% throttle.
Should push harder. I feel like I'd have a bad habit in qualifying at a track like this. You just break the pedal off because you're pushing so hard on it, trying to get more.
You ever find yourself gripping the wheel really tight, all of a sudden once you get on, you're just like, man, I was holding on to that damn thing, huh? Do you get that?
It was bumpy as, especially in these super lates with as, rigid as the suspension is with the bump stops. I'd get it where my hands kind of fall asleep, like especially at the big league when we had 126 lap run in a row. Like that, like I can still drive. It's just you lose that feeling a little bit, but I think that's more on the bumps than me, really squeezing it tight. And people don't realize, at WIR how bad we're getting thrown around and how old that pavement is. I think it's about 70 years old, so it's a rough terrain.
Hamlin just knocked Heim down to second.
3 to go.
I'm a big fan of this guy too. Ryan Preece. I'm a big fan of this guy. kind of a racer's racer, had to work for it type deal.
He's one of the only few coming up that that came up that didn't buy his way there.
Barry, probably the other one.
Yeah, Barry was up there, and they're both kind of for NASCAR standards. They made it at an older age too.
Yeah.
Being around 30, the time they make it there.
And Priest's story is wild with like disregarding anything and running Cup, but saying I'm going to throw that all away to only take a few races with Gibbs and what was the Xfinity Series, now O'Reilly.
Yeah,
that's pretty wild to make that decision and have it work out.
Yeah, I feel like you almost have to make those decisions to get in winning equipment and try to win a couple times. And I don't think anyone cares if you can go run 15th and 20th place equipment. They want to see you win and winning equipment. So
right. Yeah,
it's definitely, and I see like Bonds and yours on that path, another modified guy that's kind of in and out with Gibbs a little bit, and yeah, you need that. Priest went to the top.
Yep,
a little bit.
Here comes Briscoe. He was the pole sitter last year.
Remember last summer he was on the pole over and over and over again. Yeah.
Jesse Nudico has chimed back in. He says, Grant, can't wait to cheer you on this season at WIR this summer and wants to know if you are racing the Tundra race this summer.
I will be at the Bear, whatever it is, 66, 96, whatever they make it. My weekend will be a little easier we're not going to Hawkeye Friday night for it. So it'll be just a Tundra race Saturday. It's kind of our, even last year, I don't want to say we're not there to win, but we're there to prepare for Thursday nights. And, it's kind of a free test session for us and get some race experience and laps on the car. And we'll definitely be there. And that was a really cool one to win, and definitely kind of felt like it was my breakthrough pace, race that set the tone for the whole year. So we'll be there, and we'll be a little cautious because we got to be back 5 days later to race, but be there searching for one before we go to Slinger the next day, I think, for the inaugural Triple Crown race. So be a busy weekend.
And Kevin said a little while ago that Heim's cars cool down the most, so he might have had a slight advantage. That may have been true for a little bit, but still an impressive run here. This might be the one. He was the only one in the 48s. Briscoe got close. He was 49.022. Well,
Briscoe's on the front row no matter what.
Briscoe's on the front row. And it is 0 right off the bat. Kyle's car had some time to cool down as well. And it looks like he is on his way.
Well, he's just going up.
Turn 2.
Good for Kyle.
It even started in the red, and then his car is hooked up to go back to the green like that.
He's got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sure looks that way. Look at that. He'll be the only one in the 48s again.
Oh, he hit the apron a little. He scrubbed some speed there. Wow. He lost over 100th there.
Probably going to be a 49 flat.
Pretty close. Yeah, 006.
Wow. Good for him. There you go.
Yeah, he needs to win one before he retires.
Yes, agreed. I feel the same way about Keselowski, like being close and champion, but Kyle Busch, yeah. All right, what's Andy Monday got to say here? Since you guys are talking qualifying, can you change your number this year so you don't knock me off the top of the board every week when the 17 goes after the 10?
Normally, Andy's, that's his time to shine is the 2 laps. That I'll let him have a few this year as long as I'm good on lap 35 or 50.
I love it.
We'll have to switch it up. Yeah. I think hopefully we got it hooked up enough where it don't matter where we go out, we can put it up to the top.
Yeah.
So,
you guys can qualify first and second, and you guys can go back and forth, right?
Yeah. Hopefully.
You can say, hey, go in numeral order and then go backwards the next week, instead of always being the same way all the time.
Yeah. I don't make the rules, Andy does.
Yeah, Enemies in the air, yeah. That's what they say.
Yeah.
He
Those
said
board members, between him and my dad, it's all their fault.
he's old. He gets tired after a few laps, he says.
Well,
Yeah.
no.
That doesn't get any better either. So he's still in
No.
the prime of his career. He'll be all right.
I guess technically I'm supposed to just be getting to mine, but I trust me, I felt way better at 19 than I do now.
Yeah, that's again, that doesn't get any better.
No, it never does.
But staying busy, that's key.
Yep.
That's
Keeping
key.
the
Keep her
seat.
moving. Yep.
Yep.
Keep her moving. That's my motto.
Yep. I try to race as much as I can, and that keeps me sharp at it.
You run on a simulator? You run the iRacing?
I did in high school. I didn't like it because you need to spend so much time on it to be good at that, and I didn't have 3-4 hours a night to be on there to be good at it. So then when I do it once in a while, I'd suck, and then I hated it because I sucked. So, and they didn't show on the simulator on the show, and I got on there, and that's a whole different one. But I got motion sick on it for some reason, and I had not a good time. So, not a simulator guy. I play NASCAR 25 on Xbox. I can just go wreck stuff, but that's about it.
Yeah, yeah. You don't got people yelling at you when you do it on NASCAR 25.
Yeah, I got motion sickness at California one night on iRacing, but it had nothing to do with the 6 old fashions I had beforehand.
That's not motion sick. That's something else.
It was those lights. The lights were pulsating, man, and it just made the room spin.
Well, so near those big simulators, the screen's like 100 feet wide and 40 feet tall, and there's too much to look at, and then you're going in circles when you're not, and I don't know. I've heard that's a pretty common, like, it's not like, everyone has it, but there's some drivers that are out there that just can't do the sim stuff or, need some time to get over it. And
yeah. You even get that with, even regular like PlayStation or Xbox games now. They're so realistic that they put that warning on there now.
Yeah.
But wow, yep, Kyle Busch.
He looks happy. He looks happy finally. He gets be happy for a few days. So
he, I don't, I think they're always focused, but he seems happy but determined. Like even out of the car, like there's a look to him that says, "We're not here to mess around anymore. This is going to be our year."
Yeah.
Good start, that's for sure. Can't start any better.
It's cool to see. Cool to see the drive he's still got at his age.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he wants to hang on till his kid becomes of age. That's kind of his plan. So then all of a sudden he'll be there for his son. So the timing of that will be perfect for him.
It's coming pretty soon.
Yeah, really fast. Just keeps growing fast, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it seems like he's been. I mean, we just mentioned this is his 21st Daytona 500. I mean, he's only 40 years old.
Yeah. So, everyone thinks he seems older because how long he's been there.
Yeah.
Well, he was restricted when he came up. He was 17 and they held him back. So.
Josh Anthony might be starting a rumor. He's getting the big Hendrick ride next year.
I don't think that's happening.
Maybe. I don't think that's happening either. I think the Hendrick and him, when they broke up a few years ago, I think that ship sailed.
I think Hendrick, if they're going to sign someone new, they'd want someone that can be there for 10 to 15 years, not someone that's, I don't want to say Kyle's, any worse, but they want someone that's going to be there forever, and he's got maybe 5 years left.
Yeah, you would see them like, I thought Hocevar for maybe a while, but Hocevar just signed that deal in the 2030s.
But that can always, they can get out of that.
Oh, yeah. You know, Toyota's playing that danger. You talked about Heim not being full
Mhm.
time. They're playing that dangerous game where could he be one that gets stolen away?
Yeah, I don't.
I
I
don't
mean,
see
they'd have
that,
to buy
but
Toyota out, and Toyota's gonna have to make room for him next year. And I mean, unless Herbst, completely changes it around, I think he's the only one that's on the hot seat. I don't see too many people like Gibbs that unless Denny retires, but I don't see that happening within the next year or two either.
yeah. Um, you know, Jesse, I think about Jesse Love. He was a big Toyota driver, and Austin Childers
Mhm.
stole him away. You know, that's one that was shocking. You know,
Yeah, Toyota seems to
um,
spend a lot on like the development, and then they don't have the cup teams like other teams do. They don't have any satellite teams, now with Legacy, but they just don't have room for all this talent, and I guess that's a good problem to have. But then you got to be all right with losing some, and when they come back later and beat you.
there's a lot of talk about Bowman, and I think that's probably what Josh Anthony is alluding to. Bowman losing his ride with Hendrick, but I think the chase
Gonna be
could really help Alex Bowman. He's kind
mhm.
of one of those steady Eddie guys, just consistent. Might not win a whole lot, but he's consistently in regular season points. He's top 5 all the
Yeah,
time.
I think him and
Um,
Chase are gonna really benefit from this because Chase Elliott's similar. Where normally Chase can pull out a win, but normally it's only one, and he's just always there. I
yeah,
think Reddick too is one of those guys, and
mhm.
a lot of guys are
Yeah.
gonna come to the top. But
It's going to be a fun year to watch with the changes and see. I worry a little bit because there's a reason why the chase went away, but
mhm.
maybe it'll be better in today's day and age than it was, 10 years ago or whatever it was. But
I feel like it's a good compromise. I don't think the playoffs. I think it kind of ran its course,
yeah,
and and it's it's a little different, but
yeah.
I do
Kevin
agree.
Heiding is saying that Heim would be more likely than Bush at Hendrick. I
I would
agree with
agree
that.
with that. I think both chances are low, but that one's
Yeah,
better than Kyle's.
yeah,
I think Kyle's sticking it out at RCR now that I think that's a spot Brexton can be there with their Xfinity program and a few years down the line, and we'll see. I'm
yeah.
surprised though with that development that I get the truck team probably took up a lot of his time, but that he didn't keep ownership of it, to have a
I'm
spot for him.
I'm shocked by that as well. And not only did he not keep ownership of it, then he sued Spire on top of it.
Yeah.
Um, after they took over. So and then he goes back to drive for him. So that was a very rocky and
Yeah. I think
interesting
he's still
relationship.
driving for him now.
He is, yeah.
But,
So that's probably Brexton's road, Spire trucks, and then Childress Xfinity. That probably makes a lot of sense there.
just other than Nice, Chevrolet really doesn't have too many. I think those are the top two teams there.
Yeah. Yeah, Houston, unless GMS comes back. I know they're doing a lot at the short track level, but
Yeah, they're trying to make a comeback, but it's hard to get into that game.
yeah. Yeah. Well, buddy, thanks for joining us during this. We appreciate it. It was fun to talk to you, hear about the show, your experience with it, and everything. So we'll let you go, and we'll have you on sometime here in the near future.
Awesome. Well, good to see you guys. Worst comes to worst, we'll see you guys come April or May.
You betcha.
Sounds
We'll
good,
hang
buddy.
out down
Oh.
at the icebreaker for sure, man.
All
Yep.
right, we'll see you then. Thank you.
Yep. See you, buddy.
Yeah, take care.
Well, Mark, I guess there's probably only one thing we got left to do here is basketball has now taken over FS1 after that qualifying effort
I went,
there. So
I went to YouTube right away, just seeing if there was anything on there, but I see nothing from down in Florida. So
we got
unfortunate there.
to talk. We didn't do this on last week's podcast, but we do our playoff pick'ems every year as well for each of the 3 series. And then we also got to make our first weekly season pick for all 3 series as well, which you absolutely crushed me last year. So we'll see what happens here this year. But Why don't we start in the Craftsman Truck Series and talk about who you think will make the chase this year for the Craftsman Truck Series?
My paper's up north, so I told you everything yesterday. You got my information, don't you? We got a lot together, but then there's a couple of them that are a little bit different. Yeah, my sheet's upstairs, so I'd be gone for a while if I had to go find that.
All right, so you got Enfinger, Honeycutt, Haley, Ankrum, Riggs, Chandler Smith, Ty Majeski, Christian Eckes, and Jake Garcia making the playoffs. I have Grant Enfinger, Caden Honeycutt, Brendan Queen, Justin Haley, Daniel Hemrick, Lane Riggs, Chandler Smith, Ty Majeski, Christian Eckes, and Ben Rhodes making the chase. I tell you what, the trucks are stacked this year. This is going to be this was really, really hard to pick. I thought about Daniel Dye. I thought about taking Cole Butcher. I thought about Tanner Gray. I thought about Jiro Rashiro. I thought about Ankrum. You had him. I didn't. I thought about Dawson Sutton, Stuart Friesen coming back, and I thought about um, Jake Garcia as well. So, I mean, I could have picked close to 20 drivers to make the chase here, and I had to narrow it down there. So, I think our differences are you have Ruggiero, and I have Brendan Queen. And then you have Jake Garcia. I have Ben Rhodes. I think that's where I differ. Do you remember who you took for champion?
We never said last night because I told you this afternoon. I'm going, hey, we made all that, but we never picked a champion. So, yeah, I'll tell you who the champ's going to be. How can you go against that 11 of how much that team was together, and with Honeycutt, that's going to be hard to beat, man. That's where I'm going to pick. I'm going to take the 11 in the Truck Series.
I have Honeycutt as well. Yep, I agree with you there. As far as the O'Reilly series goes, you have Creed, Quapple, Love, Elgire, Sammy Smith, Corey Day, Brandon Jones, Austin Hill, Harrison Burton, Ryan Sieg, Sam Mayer, and Taylor Gray. I have Creed, Quapple, Love, Elgire, Sammy Smith. So our first picks are all the same there. Corey Day, we also both have. I took William Sawalich here where you don't have him. I also have Jones, Hill, Harrison Burton, Mayer, and Gray. I thought about Jeb Burton because I feel like he has the potential of being consistent, but I just couldn't put him in there. I also thought about Sieg. You put him in. So our differences are not a whole lot there. I think it's two drivers. It's Sawalich for me, where you took Ryan Sieg.
Yeah, I had Swallows and I crossed him off. He was down at one time, but yeah, I moved on.
Who do you think will win the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series championship this year, buddy?
Man, you look at all of them and you just look and say who's the best one on that whole works. You go back to Justin Allgaier. That looks like the best one for me out there. I'll take the 7.
Well, I hate to say this. I also got Justin Allgaier. So, all right, we got the same championship champion for 2 series here. We'll see what we do for Cup. You and I differ a little bit more on Cup than we have the other 2 series, though. You have Larson, Kozlowski, Elliott, Hamlin, Blaney, Busher, Briscoe, Bell, Barry, Logano, Wallace, Byron, Reddick, Gibbs, Priest, and Hocevar. I have Chastain and Cindric, so you don't have those 2. Then I go to Larson, Bush. You do not have Bush. I have Elliott, Hamlin, Blaney, Busher, Briscoe, Bell, Barry, Logano, Wallace, Byron, Reddick, and Bowman. So you have Priest and Hocevar, and I don't, and I have Chastain and Cindric, and you don't have them. So little different there. I could have put Austin Dillon in. I could have put Keselowski in. I could have put Gibbs, Priest, Hocevar. I could have even put Zilich in and SVG, and I just didn't. So I'll start with the champion on this one. I have Joey Logano winning the championship.
Oh, you're going by the calendar again, huh?
No, I not intentionally. Not intentionally. I know that's a thing though. It's an even year. Who do you got?
Uh, you know, I my first thing that I would say would be Christopher Bell. I would take Bell, but I think somebody can beat him out, and I think this is the year for William Byron, and that's which way I'm going with the 24.
I like it. Yeah.
The 24 and the 20 are going to battle right to the end. That's the way I look at it.
It's gonna be a great year, that's for sure. Before we get into our weekly picks here, we got some comments to catch up on. Freddie Bannister says he still finds it weird that Hendrick owned company is sponsoring Kyle Busch in the trucks. Maybe some people find that weird, but Hendrick and Kyle Busch have remained friends even after they split. So that's not super surprising to me anyway. Freddie also says that he thinks Cole Butcher wins at Daytona. We think a lot of Cole Butcher. So that's certainly possible. It's great that he's getting that opportunity with Thor Sport there. So that would be a popular win, especially up in Nova Scotia area and around the country where he's raced. Looks like Mitch Meyerhofer has also chimed in. What are your thoughts on Ty and Cole being teammates now? I think they know each other well enough where it'll be a good pairing. They'll be good teammates to each other. We'll see how Cole adapts to the truck series full time. He did show some speed and some improvement in that 62 truck for Stuart Friesenhelmer, racing last year. So we'll see what happens there. But I think it's a good thing. I think they are comfortable with each other. So I know they've been rivals, but still at the same time, they have a lot of respect for each other. So I think it's cool that Cole and Ty are teammates. What are your thoughts on that, Mark?
I'll tell you what, the one you're going to see that looks really good is going to be Jake Garcia. Every time we see him, wherever he races, he's better, and he sure got the experience, and staying with Thor like that. The one I'm concerned is Ben Rhodes. He's always right on the cut line, fighting to get in, and I don't know. It's just like I don't know about Ben Rhodes. They seem to always change the crew chief halfway through the season all the time. Yeah, we'll see. Butcher has gotten a little experience. It's going to be good for him to get more seat time. So, yeah, that's my feelings on that.
Yeah, Jake Garcia. Definitely a good talent. You brought up a good point, Ben Rhodes. There was a post out there only a few weeks ago saying that ThorSport was looking for a crew chief for a two-time Truck Series champion, which obviously at that team is Ben Rhodes.
Yep.
Unless they're running that 66 and someone else is running it that we're not aware of. So that's a little concerning. I still think he'll overcome that. Once again, they play that strategy, and he's one that loves playing that strategy where he's very consistent in his finishes. So I think that gets him over the top. But I don't have Garcia in the playoffs. We just mentioned that. I don't have him in there, but he is one heck of a talent, and I wouldn't be surprised one bit if he made it. There's just so much good talent in the Truck Series this year. Like I said, it's going to be one heck of a ride in that series this year.
There's so many big cup drivers that are come down and dabble down in there, and so all year long there's going to be such high talent that's coming down. So yeah, the trucks are going to be fun this year, man.
Yeah. All right, buddy. For our weekly picks, since I did better than you at Phoenix last year in all three series,
Clean
you
sweep.
get to go. You get to go first, even though you dominated me all of last year. Do you know? Do you have your weekly picks that you made?
Let's see. Who did I take for the truck race?
You took Michael McDowell to win. He's an Aspire
It's
truck.
that Spire 7 truck. Yeah, we've seen that 7 perform before. So yeah, Michael McDowell, Daytona. Yeah, that's a good pick. I like that one.
I am gonna take Justin Haley. I think the Ram ride is a little concerning with it being their first race with Ram and them starting the new team. But Justin Haley runs really well at super speedways. He's won in an Xfinity truck, and he's even won a cup race. Yes, it was rain shortened, but he has won a cup race at Daytona. So I went with Justin Haley to take that.
All right. So, all right. Then we go to the O'Reilly. Got that? Hey, getting
O'Reilly.
better at that, man. Getting better at that. Hey, man, you got to take Austin Hill, man. He always seems to be the guy that's always up front, and he's hard to beat. So the first time out of the box, we'll throw Austin Hill at you. As long as he keeps his gear cap on his back tire, we'll be just fine.
Surprise,
That's
surprise.
last year.
Yeah, surprise, surprise.
Dominating, and then the grease starts coming out of the back tires. That's nice.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you dominated last year, and then you get a pick like you have first pick to take Austin Hill at a super speedway. Isn't that lovely? For me, anyway. I'm gonna take. I think I took this guy last year too. I'd have to look back, but I'm pretty sure I did. I'm gonna take Harrison Burton. He's another guy that runs well at super speedway, so I'm gonna take him. He's in that new ride for Sam Hunt Racing, but I think Harrison Burton's got a good shot to win the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race at Daytona.
Yeah, that's in the 24 truck. Yep, Sam Hunt.
Car, yep.
Car, yeah.
And then for the Cup Series, you remember who you picked?
Who did I pick? I think I took I took the guy who was the fastest in morning practice. Yeah, Austin Cindric. I feel I gotta take a Penske car just for some reason, man, and that's where I'm going with that.
After seeing what I saw today, I'm not sure I love my pick. Honestly, like I said earlier, I would have really loved for Corey LaJoie to make the race, and I would have took him. If he was guaranteed a spot, I would have took Corey LaJoie. He's finished top 5 a few times down there. I think he'll make the show, but we'll see what happens. You never know. I'm going to take Brad Keselowski. I don't love it for the fact of that he's hurt, but sometimes when you're hurt, something extra comes out of you. Remember Kyle Busch being hurt and winning those races to eventually make the playoffs in 2015. There's been a few other drivers that have won when they've been a little under the weather or in some discomfort and injured. So I'm going to take Brad Keselowski. Another strategy that I use, since we're only able to use drivers 3 times in each series, is I don't want to burn a driver that I think is going to do really well at some other tracks. Brad's a great driver, don't get me wrong. There's a select few tracks I would use him at this year, so I'm going to use him at Daytona, and hopefully he has some speed there and does all right. So,
well, no matter what, every time you see a Daytona, you always see the 22 and the 6 always together. Somehow, some way during the race, there they up front, and then throw in a little Blaney, and then and then Bubba Wallace is there at the end. So you kind of see the same kind of thing. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with that pick that you got there, man.
Yeah. It'll be fun to see how the season goes, man. Hopefully my season goes a little better, at least keeps it closer than it did last year. Hopefully I win. It's been 2 years in a row for you now. You won on a tiebreaker 2 years ago. That one really hurt. I'd rather just have you take me to the woodshed like you did last year. But hopefully I can take some wins and be a little better there, but we'll see what happens. It's just good fun. I appreciate you doing it. Freddie Bannister also says he thinks Sheldon Creed is going to get the win at Daytona. Wouldn't that be something, getting the first win and getting off the schneid with the second place finishes?
He's well deserving. He sure needs one with all them second place finishes, so that'd be a good one there.
That would be a good one. Tom Hawker's joined in for a little bit. He gives a thumbs up there. Kirk Keen also sent in a message just a little bit ago. 3 Wisconsin kids, Parker Retzloff, Natalie Decker, Luke Fanhouse, all racing in the O'Reilly series at Daytona coming up in a few days. We have mentioned that on previous podcasts and all that. Be really cool because Dave Stillman we had on. So there's a Wisconsin connection with Viking Motorsports, Parker and Dave Stillman. So that's really cool. Cool to see Natalie Decker back in a car. She's been doing some meet and greets and stuff lately. So hopefully she has a good run. And then we just had Luke Fenhouse on last week. And since then, his paint scheme come out. You and I both said that is really sharp looking. So hopefully he has a good run in that Hettinger Racing Ford, that number 5. So they all started in Central Wisconsin. How about that? And Derek Krause is another Central Wisconsin. I'll call him kid. He's not a kid anymore, but a lot of talents coming out of that area. So Kirk Keen wanted to make everyone aware of that, and that's good stuff there. So we talk about it quite often. So, all right, man. Well, I think that's all she wrote. We got the duels coming up tomorrow. We'll get the TV schedule coming here for you. Unless you got anything else that you'd like to mention here, Mark.
Go ahead and hit the schedule. There's a whole bunch of racing coming up, man. We got the truck practice. I think starts at 4:00, and then after that, then we're gonna do some qualifying 150 for tomorrow. And so, what times and channels there, buddy?
Yep. So it starts tomorrow at 3:00 will be ARCA practice. Then on FS1 at 4 will be truck practice. 5:00 will be race day. 6:00 the duels get going. 60 laps for each of those. It'll be in the 60s during the day, 50s during night, 15% chance, so should be good there. Friday at 12:30, ARCA qualifying. 2:00 on FS1 will be truck qualifying. 3:30 on the CW app will be O'Reilly practice. 4:35 on FS1 will be Cup practice. 6:30 will be FS1 will be the truck race stages of 20, 20, and 60. It'll be in the 70s during the day, 50s at night with 25% chance. So all of a sudden there was some moisture chances that moved in for Friday. Saturday then, 9:00 on the CW app, O'Reilly qualifying. 11:00 on Fox, the big network, ARCA race gets going, the ARCA Menard Series, 80 laps there. Then 2:00 on FS1 is Cup practice. 4:00 on the CW is the O'Reilly race, stages of 30, 30, and 60 in the 70s during the day, 60s at night, 20% chance of moisture. That has since increased a little bit too over the week, so we'll see what happens. Should be okay, but you never know down there. And then Sunday, all day on Fox, 11:30 is race day. 1:30, the Daytona 500 will get going. Stages of 65, 65, 70 in the 70s during the day, 60s at night. It has moved up to 65% chance. Right now, I'll give you a we'll be all right, because we will be. And I think the moisture will come after the race. You might see them adjust the schedule a little bit. It might move up an hour. Mark, you've studied the weather. Any final thoughts on that and this weekend?
I study the weather, man. And ever since I got up this morning and seen a couple weather maps and looking at it, man, I'll tell you what, it's sure looking like it's going to be later in the day. But you're right. There's a possibility of stepping it up an hour early, so pay attention to that. It could be, but yeah, it's looking like more or less that it's going to be later in the day or into the evening. And when it starts, it's going to be a good 12-hour wash after that, because there's significant moisture with the system that's coming in there. They're all happy down there because they've been back into the drought down there, so they're all hoping for it, but they can wait till Monday. How's that? Then they can have all the rain they want.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully, you think about it. Last year, they had some moisture down there. Like, man, let's get through the weekend, and then you can do whatever it wants, like you said. So, hope everyone has a great Daytona weekend starting tomorrow, Thursday. Thanks everyone for tuning in to our watch party. You never know; it's possible we could show up live on Friday or maybe Saturday for the O'Reilly race. We'll see what happens. Not going to go live on Sunday. We're going to have some fun and enjoy the race, but you never know. It's a possibility. So we haven't talked it through yet, but we'll see what happens. But appreciate everyone. Thank you, Tim, Ben, and Carrie, for your support. Mark, appreciate you. Grant Griesbach, thank you for coming on again, buddy. We appreciate hearing you. Everyone who commented here, we appreciate you as well. Thank you, everyone, for your support. And, hey, we'll talk to you soon.
All right, let's go racing.
Let's do it. See ya.
This has been a production of Lore Sports. Hope you all enjoyed it, and thank you for listening.